Hi children, let's look at our SA2 Revision Paper 2. Alright, question 1. Which of the following numbers has the digit 4 in the hundreds place? Now let's look at the option. Option 1, the digit 4 is in the ones place. Okay, what about option 2? Option 2, the digit 4 is in the tens place. And option 3, the digit 4 is in the thousands place. So therefore, option 4, okay, the digit 4 is in the hundreds place. So the correct answer is option 4. That is pretty straightforward. Let's look at question 2. Now, question 2, subtract 103 from 2648. Subtract 103 from, so you subtract from 2648. So let's do our working. So 2648, okay, subtract 103. Okay, so 8 ones minus 3 ones, we have 5 ones. 4 tens minus 0 10, we are left with 4 tens. And 6 hundreds minus 100, that gives us 500. 2000 minus 0,000, so we are left with 2000s. So answer should be option 2. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to question number 3. Now question 3 says, okay, what is the product of 8 and 6? Remember, product means multiply. So 8 times 6 would give us 48. So that will give us option number 4. Alright, let's move on. Question 4. A sale took place at the community club over the weekend. Now Jackie bought a storybook, okay, and a bag. How much did she spend all together? Okay, so let's take a look. What is storybook and the bag? Okay, so we know that storybook costs $2.20 and the bag costs $6.60. So we should add them together. So $2.20 and $6.60. Now remember to align your numbers, the amount of money by your decimal point. So align the decimal point, make sure that they are in one line. Okay, and let's add. So 0 plus 0, we have 0 here, and 2 plus 6, we have 8 here. Okay, and followed by your decimal point, and 2 plus 6 again, that gives us 8. So it's $8.80, and that is option 4. Okay, let's move on. Okay, question number 5. Which of the following lengths is the longest? Now you can look at the units. First of all, let's look at the units. The units are made up by meters and kilometer. Now it is very hard to compare if you have meters and kilometer. So let's make them all the same units. So what should we do? We know that 1 kilometer is actually equals to 1000 meters. Okay, so since option 1 and 2 are already in meters, we shall convert or change option 3 and 4 to meters as well. Okay, so option 3 is 5 kilometers. So first of all, 5 kilometers will give us 5000 meters. So for option 3, it will be 5000 meters plus 98 meters, and that gives us 5098 meters. Okay, now what about option 4? Option 4 is 5 kilometers, 890 meters. That will be 5000 meters plus 890. And we know that that will give us 5890. So looking at the 4 option, which one of the options give us the longest length? And that will be option 1. Okay, alright, let's move on to question 6. Okay, now question says question 6 says, if 2/3 is equals to 8 out of blank, a missing value in the denominator, what is the missing value in the box? So first of all, let's look at the numerator. Okay, you have to know how the numerator are related. Okay, so how is the numerator 2 related to 8? Okay, we know that 2 times 4 give us 8. So that means that the denominator 3 must also multiply by 4. So what is 3 times 4? 3 times 4 will give us 12. So the missing value in the box is 12. Okay? So that will be option 4. Okay, moving on. Let's look at question 7. Okay, let's look at question 7. Now, the question 7 tells us that, okay, a wall panel is covered with pattern tiles as shown below. So what is the area of the pattern tiles? Okay, now let's look at the figure. We can see that the figure is made up by half squares and squares. Now as we know, 2 half squares give us a square. So let's deal with the half squares first. I have 1 and another 1 here, so I have 2 half squares, and this 2 half square will give me 1 square, and I have another 1, 2, another 2 half squares. So altogether, these 4 half squares would give me 2 squares. What about the full squares? Let's look at the squares. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have another 5 squares. So 2 plus 5, I would altogether have 7 squares. Now, I know that each square is made up by the length of 1 cm and a breadth of 1 cm. So each square has an area of 1 square centimeters. Okay? So when each square have 1 square centimeters, I have 7 of such squares. I would have an area of 7 square centimeters. So answer should be option 2. Okay, moving on. Let's look at question number 8. Now complete the number pattern below. Okay, let's look at the sets of numbers. We have 29, 22, 16, blank, 7 and 4. Let's look at the first two numbers, 29 and 22. How are they related? Okay, so I know that 29 minus 22 give me, okay, 7. So from 29 to 22 is a minus 7. Now you cannot just use one set of numbers and compare and say that, oh, the pattern is subtract by 7. You have to look at other numbers. Okay, so what do? Let's look at 22 and 16. What about 22 and 16? 22 minus 16. However, 22 minus 16, you realize that it will give you 6. Okay, so the number pattern is not of the same number. The first two numbers minus 7, and the second and the third number is minus 6. So how do we know what the pattern is like? So let's check out the last two numbers, 7 and 4. How is 7 and 4 related? So 7 minus 4 give us 3. Okay, so we know that from 7 to 4, you actually subtract 3. So 7, 6. So can you make a smart guess? From 16 to the blank, what should you do? Yes, we should try to minus 5. So what is 16 minus 5? So 16 minus 5 would give us 11. Okay? So 11. The number in the blank should be 11. But let's check. Okay, if it is really the number, then 11 to 7 should be minus should give us a 4. Okay? So if 11 minus 4 should give me 7 as well. So 11 minus 4. Okay? So 11 minus 4 does give me a 7. Okay? So that tells us how our pattern is like. So the correct answer should be 2. The number in the blank should be 11. Let's move on. Okay, question number 9. The sum of 3 odd numbers is 33. The 3 numbers are, now be very careful, the question says that they are formed by odd numbers. Now what are odd numbers? Odd numbers are your numbers like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and so on and so forth. Okay, let's look at the options. Option 1 is made up by 8, 12, 13. Now I know that option 1 is not the correct answer because the number 8 and the number 12 are even numbers. Now let's look at option 2. Option 2 is made up by 9, 11 and 13, and these 3 numbers are my odd numbers. Okay, so option 2 might be the answer, but let's check on option 3. Option 3 are made up by 10, 11 and 12. Now we know that option 3 is also not the correct answer because 10 and 12 are even numbers. Now what about option 4? Option 4, we also have 10, 12 and 13. Once again, 10 and 12 are even numbers. So let's leave us with option 2. But let's check option 2. 9 plus 11 give me 20. Okay? And 20 plus 13 gives me 33. So option 2 fits the criteria of the question. So the correct answer should be option 2. Okay? So let's move on. Okay, question 10. Jeremy has 1,400 stamps. He has 938 local stamps and the rest are foreign stamps. How many foreign stamps does he have? So we know that he has 1,400 stamps, of which 938 are local stamps. Okay, and the rest are foreign stamps. So we have to subtract 938 from 1,400. So 1,400 minus 938. Okay, so now we know that 0 ones cannot subtract by 8 ones, so we have to regroup from our tens. However, I also have 0, 10 here. So what do? I have to regroup from the hundreds. So let's regroup. If I regroup 100 away, I'm left with 3 hundreds, and that will give me 10 tens. However, I still have 0 ones here. So from the 10 tens, I have to regroup. Okay, and if I regroup, that will give me 10 ones here, and that will leave me with 9 tens here. So 10 ones minus 8 ones, I'm left with 2 ones. Okay, and I have 9 tens minus 3 tens, I'm left with 6 tens. And 300, now I have 300 to subtract 900. That would not be enough, so I have to regroup from my thousands. Okay, and when I regroup my thousands, I will altogether have 1300s. So 1300 subtract 900, I will have 400. So that will give me 462. So that is option 1. So he has 462 foreign stamps. Okay, let's look at question 11. Now there were 105 apples in a crate. John packed all the apples into boxes of 7. What was the number of boxes used to pack all the apples? Okay, now box. Alright, in one box there are 7 apples. So how many boxes of apples do you have Okay, would John have to actually pack in all the 105 apples? So what should we do? We should use 105 divide by 7. So you will do your working over here. So 105 divide by 7. Now 1 cannot divide by 7, so you will put a 0. And 0 times 7 will give me 0. Anything multiplied by 0 is 0. So 1 minus 0, I'll have a 1. Next, you bring down your digit 0, 1 digit at a time. So now 10, can 10 be divided by 7? Yes. So 1 times 7 give me 7, 2 times 7 give me 14. So 10, we could only have 1 times 7, 7. So we'll put 1 here, and 10 minus 7. So when 10 minus 7, we have 3. And we will bring down the digit 5. So 35. So what times 7 give me 35? Oh, okay. And if you go through your times table, you know that 7 times 5 would give me 35. So 7 times 5 give me 35. Okay. So how many boxes were used to pack all the apples? 15 boxes. We have 15 boxes, and that would be your option number 1. Alright, now let's move on to question number 12. Let's look at question number 12. Aaron has $237. He has $123 less than Jessie. So how much does Jessie have? Okay, now if we were to solve this question and we draw a model, so Aaron would have $237. Okay, and Jessie, okay, has $123 more, because the question says Aaron has $123 less than Jessie. So Jessie would have $123 more. So how do we find how much does Jessie have? We have to use 237 to add 123. So let's do it. 123 plus 237. Okay, so you will do your working. 123 plus 237. And then we have 3 plus 7, we have a 10, so we have to regroup. And 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay, and add 1, we have a 6 tenths. And 2 plus 1, we have 300. So Jessie would have $360. And that will be option 4. Alright, let's move on. Let's look at question 13. Okay, the mass of the watermelon is, let's look at the diagram and try to understand the diagram. Okay, now this is a balance, which means the weight, or rather the mass of the watermelon is the same as all these weights over here. So what do we have? We have 500 grams and another 500 grams. We have 3 of those. Okay, now this 3 would give me 1,500 gram. Okay, now we also have 800 grams and a 70 gram, which will give us 870 grams. So what is the total mass of all this weight? Okay, so we are going to add them together. So if you do your working, so 1,500 plus 870, so 0 plus 0, that's 0, 0 plus 7, that will give me 7 tenths, and 8 plus 5, I will have 13 hundredths, so I have to regroup it. So 1000, I have another 1000 here, I'll have 2370. Now, so which is it? We know that option 1 and 2 would be wrong, so we are left with option 3 and 4. Now, on the other hand, you also know that 1 kg is 1000 gram. So 2 kg would be 2000 gram. So 2370 gram would be 2 kg and 2 kg 370 grams. Okay, now let's move on. Let's look at question 14. Okay, every day John travels from his home to office. After work, he goes to the library before returning home. What is the total distance he travels each day? Okay, so every day he will go from home, he will go this way, okay, to the office, and then from the office, in the evening, he will actually go to the library, okay, and from the library, he will go back home. So what is the total distance he travels each day? Okay, so we have to add the total distance. So it will be 1968 plus 1503 plus 609. Okay, so let's do two of them first. So 1968 plus 1503. So 8 plus 3, that will give me 11, so I have to regroup. And 6 tenths plus 1 tenth, that gives me 710. Okay, and now I have 900 plus 500, that will give me 1400. Okay, and I'll regroup it to 1000. So 1000 plus another 2000 here, that will give me 3000. Okay, so the distance traveled here would be from home to office, and from office to library will be 3471. We are not finished with the question. We must remember to add our 609. So 3000, okay, let's find some space here. 3471 plus 609. Okay, so 1 plus 9, that gives me 10, and regroup. 7 tenths plus 1 tenth, that will give me 8 tenths. 400 plus 600, that gives me 10 hundredths. I'll regroup. 1000. So that will give me 3000 plus 1000, 4000. Now once again, you must know your conversion well. Okay, you must know that 1 kilometer is actually equals to 1000 meters. Can you see the K here? K tells you that it's 1000, right? So if I have 4080 meters, that will be 4 kilometers and 80 meters. So the answer should be option 2. Alright, let's move on to question 15. Okay, 6 identical glasses of water can fill a jug completely. The volume of water in each jug is 204 ml. Find the capacity of the jug. Alright, so now if one glass is 204 milliliters, okay, and I need 6 glasses to fill it, so what should we do? We should use 204 ml to multiply by 6. Okay, and we will do our working over here. So 4 times 6, that will give me 24. So I'll regroup it. 0 times 6 will give me 0, but I need to add my 2, so that will give me 2 here. 2 times 6 will be 12. Okay, so I will have 1224 milliliters. Okay, and that will be option 3. Let's move on to question 16. Okay, this is a question on graph. Now let's look at the question. The graph below shows the result of a survey taken by a group of pupils. Now make sure that you use your ruler to read every of the bar graph. Okay, now in this case, let's look at soccer. Soccer is between 22 and 24, which means that there are 23 pupils, okay, that chose soccer as their favorite sport. Now what about basketball? Okay, if you use your ruler and you do your reading, you can tell that there are actually 18 pupils that chose basketball. So make sure you write down the numbers, right? Okay, what about hockey? Hockey is between 18 and 20, so that will give us 19. And badminton would be between 14 and 16, so that would give us 15. Swimming is between 8 and 10, so that gives us 9. So which sport is twice as popular as swimming? So let's look at swimming. Swimming is 9, so twice. So twice means that, okay, excuse me, so twice means that, okay, nine I have to multiply by 2. Okay, so 9 times 2, and I will have 18. So which sport has 18 pupils? Okay, basketball. So the sport that is twice as popular as swimming would be basketball. So that will be option 3. Okay, let's move on. Okay, question 17. What fraction of the figure is unshaded? Now, if you look carefully on the figure has square and even half squares. Now, one thing you know about fraction, okay, fraction must always be cut into equal parts. In this case, they are not equal. So what do we have to do? Okay, we will have to cut each of the square into triangles. So in this case, okay, I would have to cut here. So every of this one square, you will have to cut into 2 parts. Okay, now please make sure you use your ruler to draw it so that it will be neat and tidy. So let's count all together. How many parts would you have? Okay, you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, which means that the denominator will be 18, because the denominator always tells me my one whole is cut into how many parts. Alright, they say what fraction of the figure is unshaded, so we have to count the one that is unshaded. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12 unshaded parts. Now remember, okay, if you look at all of the options, you don't have a 12 out of 18. Now remember, fraction can be reduced to the simplest form. So 12 out of 18, what should we do? 12 and 18, both number can divide by 6. So let's divide by 6. So 12 divide by 6, that will give me 2. And 18 divide by 6, that will give me 3. However, none of the option has 2/3 in it. Okay, but which of this option can be reduced to 2/3? Now if you look carefully, 6 out of 9 can be reduced to 2/3 because 6 divided by 3 will give me 2, and 9 divided by 3 would give me 3. Okay, so 6 out of 9 and 12 out of 18 are actually equivalent fractions. So the answer should be option 3. Alright, let's move on. Question 18. Now James cut a pizza into 9 equal slices. He gave 1 slice of pizza to his brother and ate 3 slices. What fraction of the pizza had he left? Okay, now let's try to understand the question. He has 1 whole pizza, okay, and he cut them into 9 slices. So I'm going to cut it into 9 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now he gave 1 slice to his brother, so this is given to brother. Okay, and he himself ate 3 slices. So here he ate 3 slices. 1, 2, 3. And all of this would be the left over pizza. So how many parts are left? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 out of 9 of the pizza is left. So answer should be option 4. Okay. Now let's move on to question 19. Now in the figure below, which line is perpendicular to BC? Where is BC? BC is over here. Now when you see the word perpendicular, do you remember your perpendicular is your right angle? Okay, so your perpendicular is your right angle, which is your L shape. Now please use your ruler Okay, please use your ruler to put it on BC. So one side of the ruler, you can put it on BC, and you will see which line is perpendicular to BC. And the line that is perpendicular to BC that gives you an L shape would be AB. AB is perpendicular to BC. So the answer is option 1. Okay, let's move on to question 20. Now, the sum of two numbers is 150. If one number is 48 more than the others, what is the value of the smaller number? Okay, now it sounds very complicated, but if you draw your model, it will be easier. So, there are two numbers. Okay, so I'm going to write here first number, and the first number is 48 more than the second number. So this is the second number. Alright, and both of them give a sum of 150. So what is the smaller number? In this case, the second number is the smaller number. So what should I do? Okay, now if I look carefully at my model, I know that if I take away the 48, both the first and the second number would be the same. So what should I do? I should use 150 to subtract 48. So if you do your sums, okay, you do your subtraction, you will know that 150 minus 48 will give you 102. Okay, now 102 is made up by these two blocks, but I only want the value of the smaller number, so what I need to do is use 102 to divide by 2, because 102 is the sum of the two blocks here. Okay, so I only want to know what is one block, so I need to do 102 divide by 2. So 1 cannot divide by 2, so I'll put a 0 here. So 1 minus 0, because 0 times 2 gives me 0, I'll have 1, and I'll bring down my 0, so I have a 10. 10 divided by 2, that will give me 5. Okay, that will give me 5. So 10 divided by 2 will give me 5, and here I have to minus. Okay, so here I have to minus 10, and that will give me 0, and I'll bring down my 2. So 2 divided by 2 will give me 1. Okay, so 1 times 2 gives me 2, so I'll minus 2, and that gives me the answer 51. So the number, the smaller number is 51, because one of this block, each of this block is 51. So that will give me the answer 1. Alright children, let's continue with section B. Okay, let's look at question number 21. Fill in the blanks with the correct number in the number pattern. This is a number pattern, so same thing, you have to look carefully at the two numbers. Okay, let's look at two numbers first. Let's look at 768 and 868. How are they related? Okay, we know that, we can tell that, okay, I have to use 768 to plus 100, okay, to give me 868. Now I told you before, we have to check with another pair of numbers. So let's check 1068 with 1168, and yes, it's also adding of 100. Okay, so we can very safely know that from 868 to the next number in the blank is adding of 100. Okay, so 868 plus 100, that will give us 968. So your answer is 968. Alright, let's move to question number 22. Now, what is 1000 less than 4528? Now this number must be less than, okay, 4528, and it is 1000 less. So what should we do? We should be using 4528, okay, to minus 1000. Okay, so we have 8 ones minus 0 1, so we have 8. 2 tens minus 0 tens, we have 2. And 500 minus 0 100, we have 500. And 4000 minus 1000, we have 3000s. So the answer will be 3528. Okay. So answer will be 3528. Let's move on. Okay, find the quotient of 216 divided by 7. Okay, so 216 divided by 7. Now, you have to remember that you have to do your long division. So when you do your long division, okay, let's do it. You must remember that 216 should be here, followed by 7. Okay, let's do Can 2 divide by 0? Sorry, can 2 divide by 7? No, so we have 0. So it will be 0 times 7 give us 0. So 2 minus 0, okay, will give us 2. You will do one digit at a time. Okay, then we will bring down the digit 1. Okay, so now we have 21 divided by 7. You go through your 7 times table, so you will know that it will be 3. 3 times 7 give me 21. Okay, so I will minus 21, and that gives me 0. So now I will have to bring down my 6th. Okay, can 6 divided by 7? Once again, no, 6 cannot divide by 7. So, because 1 times 7 is 7, so 6 is not enough, so it will be a 0 here. So 0 times 7, that gives me 0 again, so minus 0. Okay, and I get this. So I actually have an answer of 30, remainder 6. Okay, however, the question asks you for the question asks you for the quotient. Where is the quotient? The quotient is referring to here. Okay, so the answer would be 30. The quotient is 30. So you have to be very clear. This number on top here is your quotient, whereas the one at the bottom here is your remainder. So the answer is 30. Let's move on. Okay, question number 24. Mandy bought a pen at $1.99. She gave the cashier $10. How much change did she receive? So what do we have to do? Okay, we have to use $10 to subtract by $1.99. Please remember to align your decimal point. So 99 cents. Okay, so what do we have here? Okay, you will have $8.01. So she will receive $8.01. Alright? Okay, let's go on. Let's go on to question number 25. Write 14 meters 6 cm in centimeters. Now for such question, you have to write down first 1 meter is actually equals to your 100 cm. Okay, so if I have 14 meters, that would give me 1,400 centimeters. So 1,400 centimeters plus 6 centimeters, that will give me 1,406 centimeters. So your answer should be 1,406. Okay, that is straightforward. Let's move on. Question number 26. Leonard mixed fruit punch in a jug using 1 liter 609 milliliters of water and 328 milliliters of syrup. What was the total volume of the fruit punch mixed in the jug? Give your answer in liters. So your mix is made up by syrup, okay, and the water. So now if you look at the water, is in liters and milliliters. However, the syrup is in milliliters. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write my water just in milliliters. So I know that 1 liters is equals to 1,000 milliliters. So the amount of water used will be 1,609 milliliters. Okay, and the amount of syrup that is used is 328. So I'm going to add them to give me my fruit punch mix. Okay, so 1,609 plus 328. So 9 plus 8, that would give me 17 ones. Okay, so I got to regroup. my 110. 110 plus 210, I will have 3 tens. And 6 hundredths plus 3 hundredths, that will give me 900. And 1000. Now they want in liters and milliliters. So remember, okay, 1 liters is actually equals to 1000 milliliters. So I would have, so 1936, sorry, milliliters is actually equals to 1 liter 937 milliliters. Okay, so I will have 1 liters here, 937. Excuse me. Okay. So 937. So we have the answer, 1 liters 937 milliliters. Alright, now let's move on to question 27. Okay, it's a question on bar graph. Now remember what I told you. When you interpret the bar graph, please remember to write down the numbers on each of the bar. Okay, so the bar graph shows a summary of the number of children in each household in Pawnee Estate. Okay, so number of children in each household. No children. Okay, let's take a look. No children. There are 6 households with no children. 1 child. There is. Okay, there are 4 households. 2 children. There are 7. 3 children. There are 3. I'm sorry, 2. Okay, and 4 children, we have 1 household. Now please remember to use a ruler to read. Okay, in this case they have already shown the lines, but it's a good habit to use ruler to read your bar graph. Okay, so let's look at the question now. We are ready to answer the question. How many households have, okay, more than, now be very careful, they say more than 1 child. So more than 1 means 2 children, 3 children, 4 children. Okay, so how many households are there? So it will be 7 for 2 children, plus 3 children will have 2 households, and 4 children will have 1 household. So total I would have 10. Okay, so 10 households have more than 1 child. Okay, now let's move on to question number 28. Okay, find the sum of 3/5 and 1/10. Okay, so sum means addition. So 3/5 plus 1 out of 10. Okay, now you are a reminder, you are not supposed to add your denominator. Alright, so but first of all, let's take a look. I have a denominator of 5 here and a denominator of 10 here. They are different denominator, so I cannot carry out my addition. I have to convert this to an equivalent fraction. I have to convert 3/5 to an equivalent fraction with a denominator 10. So what do? I have to multiply by 2 here. When I multiply by 2 for my denominator, I have to do it the same for my numerator. So I will have 6, okay, out of 10 plus 1 out of 10. And that will give me, okay, now they have the same denominator, so I can carry out the addition. Remember, you do not add the denominator, so I have a denominator of 10. And look at the numerator, so 6 plus 1, that will give me 7. So the answer is 7 out of 10. Alright, let's move on to question number 29. Okay, question number 29 is 1 whole, subtract 4 out of 7. 1 whole minus 4 out of 7. Now you know that 1 whole tells you that it's a complete whole. A complete whole would have all the parts. Now the denominator over here is 7, so a 1 whole would give me 7 out of 7 in this case. So 7 out of 7 subtract by 4 out of 7. Now just like your addition, you do not add the denominator. In this case, you do not subtract the denominator. So 7 out of 7 minus 4 out of 7, I will have 3 out of 7. Okay, so that's your answer. This is pretty straightforward. Alright, now let's move on to question number 30. Question 30. A, B, C and D are angles of the figure below. Which angles are greater than a right angle? Alright, let's take a look. Remember, what is your right angle? Your right angle is your angle with the L shape. Okay, where can you find a right angle? Now you can find easily using your ruler. Okay, now let's look at angle A. Angle A is less than a right angle. Okay, so angle A is actually a acute angle, so angle A is not the answer. What about angle B? Angle B, if you use a ruler and place it on angle B, you will realize that angle B is an obtuse angle. It is greater than your right angle. So angle B is one of the angle that is greater than your right angle. What about angle C? Angle C is also greater than your right angle, so it is an obtuse angle. So this is also what we want. What about angle D? Angle D is less than your right angle. It is an acute angle, so this is not what we want. So what is the answer? The answer should be angle B and angle C. Remember to put your angle symbol. Okay, so we have angle C over here. Alright, okay, let's move on to question number 31. Mrs. Lee has 526 lollipops. She wants to give 702 children a lollipop each. How many more lollipops does she need? So one child get one lollipop. So if I have 702 children, I will need 702 lollipops. So she already has 526 lollipops. So how many more lollipops does she need? So what do we have to do? We have to use 702 to subtract by 526. Okay, so when you do your subtraction, you may need to do some regrouping. So 12 subtract by 6, we have 6 ones. Okay, and 9 tenths, we have 9 tenths subtract by 2 tenths, we have 7 tenths. And 600 subtract by 500, we have 100. So we have 176. So she will need another 176 more lollipops. Alright, okay, let's move on to question number 32. Okay, Denzel and Ryan shared 48 marbles. If Denzel had twice as many marbles as Ryan, how many marbles did Ryan have? Now for such question, please remember to draw your model. So if this is Denzel and this is Ryan, now Ryan would have 1 unit and Denzel would have twice that of Ryan, and altogether they would have 48 marbles. So if you look at the units, the bar model that you have drawn, okay, you can tell that 1, 2, 3, these 3 units give you 48. So how do we find out what is 1 unit? So we have to do 48 divided by 3, because 3 unit gives you 48. So what is 1 unit? Okay, then once again, please do your division. Okay, so 48 divide by 3. So 4 divided by 3. So 1 times 3, 3. 2 times 3, 6. So I can only stop at 1 times 3. So 1 times 3 would give me 3. So 4 subtract by 3, I will have 1. And I will bring down my digit 8. So I have 18 here. 18 divided by 3. And if you go through your 3 times table, you will realize that it is 6 times 3 will give me 18 with no remainder. Okay, so 1 unit is actually equals to 16. Now the question asks you, how many marbles did Ryan have? So Ryan is how many units? 1 unit. So Ryan would have 16 marbles. Okay, now let's move on to question number 33. Okay, in question number 33, in 20, okay, in 20 times 5 is equals to blank plus 49. Okay, now let's find out what is 20 times 5 first. So what does 20 times 5 give me? Okay, so 20 times 5. Alright, so you do your multiplication at the side here. So 20 times 5 would give you 0 times 5 would give me 0. So 2 times 5 will give me 100. So that will give me 100. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite the question again. So now it becomes 100 is equals to box plus 49. So how do I find box? Something plus 49 give me 100. So what is that something? So I will have to use 100, okay, to subtract by 49. Okay, so we'll do it here. 100 subtract by 49. Okay, and that will give you 51. Okay, that will give you the answer 51. So the answer in the blank should be 51. Alright, let's move on to question number 34. Jimmy went to the video games arcade and used a $10 note to exchange for 50 cents token. How many token did he receive? Okay, let's take a look. Now, okay, 50 cent you can have 1 token. So if 50 cent you can have 1 token, what about $1? $1, how many token would you have? You will have 2 tokens. Okay, now you always start with a small number. Okay, don't straight away jump to a $10. You may make mistake. So now from here, if $1 have 2 tokens, what about $10? What should I do? Okay, so from $1 to become $10, you actually have to multiply by 10 here. 1 times 10 will give me 10. So that means that 2, I also have to multiply by 10. So what is 2 times 10? 10 times 2 would give me 20. So you will have 20 tokens. Okay, so answer is 20. You will receive 20 tokens. Alright, let's move on to question number 35. Okay, street lamps will line up at equal distance along a road as shown below. The distance between the first and the second street lamp was 150 meter. What was the distance between the first and the fourth lamp? Now, you have to understand this question. This kind of question is an interval question. You have to understand. Now look at the question very, very carefully. Okay, between 2 lampposts, you have a distance of 150 meters. So they ask you what was the distance between the first and the fourth street lamp. Okay, now it is very tempting to use 150 to just multiply by 4, but no, you have to check very carefully how many 150 do you have. Okay, you have one of this and one more from here to here to between the second and the third street lamp, and another one from here to here. So you only have 1, 2, 3, 150 meters. So what should be our working? It should be 150 multiplied by 3. Okay, so what do we have when you use 150 multiplied by 3? So 0 times 3, that gives me 0. And 5 times 3, that gives me 15, so I'll have to regroup. Okay, 1 times 3 will give me 3. I have to add the 1, that gives me 4, so I will have 450 meters. Okay, so that's your answer. Let's move on to question number 36. Okay, Henry poured 900 milliliters of rose syrup equally into 6 cups. He served 2 cups to his parents. How much rose syrup did Henry have left? Okay, so if he poured 900 milliliters into 6 cups, equally into 6 cups, so first of all we need to find out how much rose syrup does he have in 1 cup. Okay, so what must we do? We have to do 900 divide by 6. Okay, we'll do our working over here. So 900 divide by 6. So 9 divided by 6, do 1 digit at a time. I know that 1 times 6 give me 6, 2 times 6 give me 12. So I can only use 1 times 6 here, so I'll put 1. 1 times 6 give me 6. So 9 minus 6, I am left with 3. Now bring down the next digit, which is 0. So 30 divided by 6. You go through your 6 times table, you will realize that 5 times 6 give me 30. Okay. So here is 30. Okay, so 30 subtract by 30, I have 0, and I'll bring down the next digit, which is 0. So 0 divided by 6. 0 divided by 6 would give me 0. Okay, so 0 minus 0 gives you 0, so that will give you 150 milliliters. So 1 cup will have 150 milliliters of, okay, 1 cup will give you 150 milliliters of syrup. Okay, now the question says that Henry served 2 cups to his parents. So if he served 2 cups out of the 6 cup, that means 6 minus 2, that gives me 4. So now he's left with 4 cups. How much rose syrup did he have left? If 1 cup is 150 milliliters, so 4 cups, so we have to multiply again. So we'll do our working. So 0 times 4 will give me 0. 5 times 4 will give me 20. And 1 times 4 gives me 4, plus 2 will be 600. Okay, so he would have 600 milliliters of syrup left. Alright, let's move on to question number 37. Okay, how many more squares should be shaded to make 4/5 of the figure shaded? Now let's look at the total number of squares in the figure first. Okay, how many squares do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10. So the whole figure is divided equally into 10 parts. However, they want 4/5. Okay, the denominator is 5. Now, so I have to equate the fraction. How do I make these two denominator the same? So I know for my equivalent fraction, 5 I can multiply by 2 to give me 10. Now if 5 multiplied by 2, the denominator multiplied by 2, my numerator has also got to multiply by 2. So 4 times 2, that will give me 8. So how many shaded squares do I have in the figure? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only have 5, but I need 8. So what should I do? 8 minus 5 to give me 3. So I will need another 3 more. Okay, so I will need 3 more. Alright, let's move on to question number 38. The figure below is not drawn to scale. What is the perimeter of the figure? Now remember, perimeter is finding the sides of the figure, the boundary of the figure. So we will add up all the sides. So we have 18 followed by 8 cm, followed by 13 cm, followed by 6 cm. Okay, for 6 cm, sorry, followed by 8 cm again, and 5. Okay, so remember to add your 5 here. Alright, now so what do we have? Okay, I will actually pair the numbers. So 18 plus 8, okay, that gives me 26, and 26 I will plus, okay, 19 here. I will try to do number bond, and I will add another 13 from 8 plus 5. Okay, so 26 plus 19. So now I need to do my working. 26 plus 19, that gives me 45. So 45, okay, so I would have 45 plus 13. Okay, because 26 plus 19 gives me 45, so plus another 13. So 45 plus 13, you will have 50. It will give you 58. So 5 plus 3 will give me 8, and 4 plus 1 will give me 5. So it will actually give me the answer 58. Okay, so the answer is 58. The perimeter is 58 cm. Alright, let's move on to the next question. So here is equals to 58. Okay, let's move on to the next question, question number 39. question number 39. Study the balance below. Okay, now for this kind of question, you have to look at the question very carefully. Let's look at the figure. Now, A and B, the mass of A plus B gives me 1,200. How do you know it's 1,200? Because this is a balance. Okay, so in order for this balance to be balanced up, you know that A plus B, you must have another mass of 1,200 at the other end. So it is A and B gives me a mass of 1,200. Now what about the scale here? 2B gives me 400 grams. Okay, so if 2B gives me 400 grams, what does that tell you about 1B? So we have to do 400 divided by 2, and 400 divided by 2 will give me 200. So that means the mass of 1B is actually 200 grams. So if now that we know that B is 200 gram, which means over here B is 200 gram, A plus B must be 1,200. So how do you find the mass of A? So we have to use 1,200 minus 200. Okay, and if you do your subtraction, you will know that, okay, the mass of A is actually 1,000 grams. Now you do not need to change it into kilometer because they ask you to leave your answers in grams. So it's just 1,000 grams. Alright, let's move on to question number 40. Now, the grid below is not drawn to scale. Using the grid, draw and color a shape, okay, with an area of 8 square centimeters and a perimeter of 14 cm. Okay, so now you may not, it's easy to just find the shape with an area of 8 square centimeters, but you have to make sure that it also gives you a perimeter of 14 cm. Okay, now you may need some time to figure it out, okay, but in this case I'm going to show you. Okay, so we will highlight, but please use your pencil and ruler to draw. Do not use a highlighter. Okay, and over here draw straight lines with it. Okay, please do not use a highlighter to draw your figure, because I'm showing you using the computer, so I won't be able to draw very straight lines from here. Alright, okay, now let's check if this shape does give us you're supposed to color it. Okay, so let's just check whether, so please make sure that you shade the figure. Alright, so shade the figure. Alright, let's just check whether you have 14 cm and 8 square centimeters. So 8 square centimeters, that means I should have 8 full squares. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I do have 8 square centimeters. What about the perimeter? 1 cm, 2 cm, 3 cm, 4 cm, 5 cm, 6 cm, 7 cm, 8 cm, 9 cm, 10 cm, 11 cm, 12 cm, 13 cm, 14 cm. So if you have a different answer, please show it to your teacher and your teacher will check on your answer. Alright? Now let's move on to question number 41, section C. Alright, now please be very clear that if section C, if you don't write your number sentences, you only show your vertical working, marks will be deducted. So please make sure that you show your number sentences very clearly. Okay, question number 41. Adrian had 841 sweets. He gave away 318 sweets to his sister and packed the remaining sweets equally into 5 bags. A. How many sweets were there in each bag? B. How many sweets were left unpacked? Okay, first of all, let's understand the question. He had 841 sweets. He gave away 318. So let's first find out, after giving away to his sister, the sweets away to his sister, how many sweets is he left with? So what must we do? We have to use 841 minus 318. Okay, so what do we do? 841 subtract 318. Okay, so if you do your subtraction, alright, you will find out that you have 523. So after giving to the sister, he would have 523 sweets, okay, left behind. The remaining sweets is 523 sweets. However, he packed all these sweets into packets of 5, so we want to find out how many sweets were there in each bag. Okay, so what do we have to do? So we have to use 523 to divide it into 5 to find out that how many sweets do we have in each bag. So please do your long division. So 5 divided by 5, I'll have 1. And then 5 minus 5, I have 0. So I'll bring down my 2. Can 2 divided by 5? 1 times 5 is 5. So 2 is not enough. So it will be 0. So 0 times 5 would give me 0. So 2 minus 0 is 2. And I'll bring down my digit 3. So 23 divided by 5, that will give me 4. Why? Because 4 times 5 is 20, 5 times 5 is 25. So 23 is 25. We do not have 25, we only have 23, so we have to stick with 20. So 4 times 5 give me 20, and I have a remainder 3. So here I will write down, it will be 104 remainder 3. Okay, but that doesn't answer your question. If you write down 104 remainder 3 in A, you will get it wrong, because the question asks you how many sweets were there in each bag. That means the number of sweets in each bag. So that will be 104. How many sweets were left unpacked? That will be your 3 sweets. The remainder actually tells you that these are the sweets that are not enough to put into a bag. Okay, so I will have 3 sweets left unpacked. Alright, now let's move on to question number 42. Barry, Linda and Rama have some stamps. Linda has 79 stamps. Barry has twice as many stamps as Linda. Rama has 69 stamps less than Linda. Okay, now for such question, please draw your model. Okay, now Linda has 79 stamps. So let's draw. So Linda, she has 79 stamps. Okay, so this is 79. And Barry has twice as many stamps as Linda. So Barry would actually have 2 of these units. Okay, And what about Rama? Rama has 69 stamps, less than Linda. Okay, so Rama only have this amount of stamp. Okay, and this is 69 less. Okay, so question A, how many stamps does Barry have? So we know that Barry has twice 2 units, okay, when Linda has 1, and 1 unit is 79. So what should we do? We should use 79 to multiply by 2. Okay, so 79 multiplied by 2, excuse me, okay, so 79 times 2. Okay, so please do your working. So 9 times 2 will be 18, so I will regroup it. 7 times 2 will give me 14, plus 1 would be 15. So it will be 158. So Barry has 158 stamps. Okay? Now, how many stamps do the 3 children have in all? Now, this is Barry, but we still need to know how many stamps does Rama has. So for Rama, he has 69 stamps less than Linda. So for Rama it will be 79 because Linda is 79 minus 69. Okay, and you will do your working again. So 79 minus 69, that will give me 10. So Rama has 10. Question B asks how many stamps do the 3 children have in all. So I need to add up the stamps that they have. So 158 plus 10 plus 79. Okay, so I know that is equals to 168 plus 79. Okay, so you will do your working once again. Alright, so okay, let's do our working. Okay, okay, so 168 plus 79, 8 plus 9, that will give me 17, so I'll do a regrouping. 6 plus 7, that gives me 13, plus 1 would be 14. I need to regroup again. So 1 plus 1 gives me 2. So that will gives me 247. Okay, so the 3 children will have 247 stamps in all. Alright, now let's move on to question number 43. Okay, Mr. Wu baked chocolate and sugar donuts. The donuts were packed into 12 bags. Each bag contained 5 chocolate donuts and 3 sugar donuts. A. How many donuts did Mr. Wu bake in all? B. How many more chocolate donuts than sugar donuts did he bake? Okay, now we know that one bag would have 5 chocolate donuts and 3 sugar donuts. So I would actually have 8 donuts in one bag. Alright, how many bags did Mr. Wu have? He actually have 12 bags. So what should I do? So 12 bags, I would have 12 times 8 donuts. So what is 12 times 8? So same thing, do your vertical working. 2 times 8 will give me 16, and regroup. So 1 times 8, 8, plus 1, I will have 96. Okay, so Mr. Wu would bake 96 donuts, okay, in the 12 bags. Now, how many more chocolate donuts than sugar donut did he bake? For question B, okay? So question B. Now, we know that in one bag, okay, he baked 5 in one bag. He baked 5 chocolate donuts and 3 sugar donuts. So in every one bag, okay, Mr. Wu will bake 2 more chocolate donuts than sugar donuts. Okay, now, but he has 12 bags, so how many more does he have in 12 bags? So one bag has 2 more. In 12 bags you will have 12 times 2, and if you work it out, you will have 2 times 2, 4, 1 times 2, 2. You will have 24 more. Alright, now some of you may have a different solution. You may find the total number of chocolate donuts and find the total number of sugar donuts, and you use the chocolate donuts to subtract by the sugar donuts to find how many more, and you will have and it still give you an answer of 24, and that's okay. That is also correct. Alright, now let's move on to question number 44. Okay, a curry puff costs 70 cents. For every 3 curry puff Ramat buy, he will get 1 free. How much must Ramat pay if he needs to get 16 curry puff for a party? Okay, now let's look. So if for every 3 curry puff he buys, 3 curry puff, okay, he will get 1 free. Okay, so altogether he will get 4 curry puff. Now if you were Ramat, if you were Ramat, how would you buy your curry puff? Would you prefer to buy one at a time, or would you buy in sets of 4? Okay, you will try to buy in sets of 4. Why? Because when you buy in sets of 4, you get to have the 1 free. Alright, so we call this 1 set. Alright, this is 1 set. Now if you need 16 curry puff, so 16 curry puff, how many sets do you have? Okay, so 16 divided by 4, you will get 4. Alright, you can do your vertical working, or you know that 4 times 4 gives you 16. So he will actually get 4 sets. He will need 4 sets. He needs to buy 4 sets. Alright, but remember, for every 1 set, how much would he be paying? Each curry puff is 70 cents. So for every 1 set, you only paid for 3 curry puff. So for every 1 set, okay, you are only paying for 3 curry puff. So 0.70 times 3. 7 times 3 will give you 21. So regroup 2. And don't forget your decimal point, so 2 places, you put your decimal point, $2.10. That is for 1 set. And you actually need, okay, this is for 1 set of curry puff. You need 4 sets. So what must I do again? I have to use $2.10 multiply by 4. So $2.10 multiplied by 4. 0 times 4 will be 0. 1 times 4 will be 4. 2 times 4 will be 8. In your decimal places, there are 2 decimal places, so 2 decimal places. Okay. So he would need to pay $8.40. Don't forget your dollar sign. It's money. $8.40. Alright? Now let's move on to question number 45. Okay, the length of a field is 3 times its breadth. The perimeter of the field is 64 meters. Find the breadth of the field. For question A, find the area of the field. Okay, first of all, you need to know that the length is 3 times the breadth. Okay, meaning if I will cut the length, I can cut it into 3 parts, which is equals to the breadth. Okay, now, so if for the length, every part I'm going to cut it, I will have 3 parts. So altogether, how many parts do I have? Let's count. Okay, I will have 1 part here, 2 parts, 3 parts, and plus a breadth for 5, 6, 7, and the other one 8. So 8 parts. So 8 parts give me 64 meters. Okay, so 8 parts give me 64 meters. Okay, so what is 1 part? I have to find out what is 1 part. So I have to use 64 meters divided by 8. Okay, now if you know your 8 times table, you know that 8 times 8 gives you 64. So 1 part is actually equals to 8 meters. So the breadth is only 1 part, so the breadth is actually 8 meters. So your answer for part A is 8 meters. Okay, and now what about the breadth is 8 meters? What about the length? Okay, what about the length? Now the length, remember just now we read the question, the length is actually 3 times that, the breadth. So what is the length? So the length would be 8 times 3. The length is 24 meters. Okay, so the length is 24 meters. Okay, now do you still remember how to find area? Area is actually your length times breadth. So what must we do? So area is 24 multiplied by 8. Okay, that's for your part B. 84 multiplied by 8. So do your vertical working, 24 times 8. So 4 times 8 will give me 32, so I need to regroup. 2 times 8 will give me 16, plus 3 will be 19. So that will give me 192. So now fill in your answer into the blank. So remember, A, find the breadth of the field. So A is 8 meters, which we found earlier. And B, find the area of the field. Now it's 192. Now please remember your units is in meters, do not put cm. So N is area, so will be 192 square meters. Alright, okay, that's all for revision set 2. Thank you.